You're listening to Sip and Grow the podcast, the show where we taste awesome, delicious wines while having unfiltered conversations about our passions, experiences, struggles, entrepreneurship, and life. My name is Nicole Di Pasquale, and I'm a wine enthusiast just trying to pursue her passions and dreams while taking you on the journey with me, one episode at a time. My ultimate goal is to not only bring you wine knowledge and value, but also inspire you to enjoy your process and journey in pursuing your passions and dreams. Because guess what? The person you become while enduring the process is more important. So sit back, grab a glass, and let's sip and grow together. Hello, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Sip and Grow, the podcast. So, story time. I was shopping in Graziano's market, and I went to the wine section, as I always do. And I was like, you know what? Today we're gonna find random wines, and we're gonna bring it to the podcast. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I brought you a wine for the podcast from Graziano's market in Miami, Florida. So this one, I actually reviewed this producer in episode 66. It was a Chenin Blanc in episode 66. And to refresh your memory, and you're more than welcome to go back to that episode to listen in on the Chenin Blanc episode. But this episode, I found this interesting because it's the same producer, but this wine is 50% Malbec and 50% Pinot Noir. So it's a blend of those two. And I've never in my life had a Pinot Noir Malbec blend. So when I saw this at the market, I was like, yeah, we're doing this. We're getting this. Which this producer is called Gen del Alma and spelled Gen. So Gen del Alma in Spanish. And they are basically a group of friends who decided they loved wine and they decided to create a label for themselves. And they have about 7 hectares of land. So it's not very big, but they produce enough grapes to make these wines. And this is one of them. So this one specifically is a 2020 vintage. It's from the northern part in Uco Valley called Guayartari, which is located in Mendoza, Argentina. I was super intrigued about this wine, so that's why I brought it on here. But I'm excited because if you remember from episode 66, this is a high altitude wine based off of the location of where the vines are, right? So I love high altitude wines. I'm super excited for this wine. I'm curious to see how a Malbec and a Pinot Noir mix together because you guys know Malbec is one of my favorite grapes and Pinot Noir has a special place in my heart. So mixing the two can either be a blessing in disguise or a recipe for disaster. Stay tuned and find out on next season of Sip and Grow the podcast. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to find out now. We're going to open it now. But they, oh my God, can I do this? I would really love to just open it this way. Yes, I got it. Got them. By the way, it's very hot today. I believe it's like 90 degrees right now. And you guys might get some more videos of me just sweating out here because the sun is sunning right now. And my back, there's like it's dripping in my back right now. Like drips of sweat going down my back. But you know what? Nothing's gonna stop us from tasting this wine. Not the sun, not anybody. Anyways, so I am super excited for this wine. I want to make sure that there's nothing. Yeah, no, I gave you guys all the info. What I did find out about this wine was that they do 50% of the fermentation and like they do 50% carbonic maceration, which is basically putting it the grapes in clusters in a sealed tank with CO2 in it, like carbon dioxide. And then the rest of the fermentation takes place in a stainless steel vat, because they press the grapes and then put it in a stainless steel vat to finish the fermentation. And then after that, what I found was really cool about this wine specifically is that they put the wine in a concrete vat and let it sit there for 6 months before releasing the wine, basically before like bottling the wine. So I'm curious to see how this tastes, because one of my favorite wines that I've tried is from the producer called Zucardi, and they ferment the wine in concrete vats. And I don't know, I just feel like a concrete vat gives it a different texture and taste. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see if we get that same vibe from this one. But I'm very excited, and I also have a story time for you guys because before filming this episode, I did have a conversation with my friend Dakota, and she actually is the inspiration for what I'm going to talk about because, not the inspiration for what I'm going to talk about, but like we got into a conversation and she reminded me of a summit that we went to 2 years ago we're in 2025. In 2023, we went to the Lewis Howe Summit of Greatness. And it's like one of those like business motivational summits that like literally it's a 3-day event, but you literally walk out of there thinking like, holy shit, I'm a boss ass bitch. We're gonna run 5 businesses. Let's fucking go. Like that environment was, first of all, such a cool experience and such good vibes. I met a lot of great people from that summit that I am still connected with, and it really taught me a lot. But there was one of the days, which I believe it was the last day, because they have like a bunch of speakers that come in and talk to us, and the last day, I think it was on his closing statement, is when he said this. But it got me thinking when she told me about like, oh, remember when he said this? And I was like, yeah, I do remember. And it just so happens that this week for me, I experienced the emotion of disappointment. So like, I think one of the hardest emotions to experience is disappointment. And of course, like, we all have control over our emotions and our feelings, but we're also only human and can only control so much. And part of our experience is to feel all of the emotions. And I hadn't experienced disappointment in a very long time, but I did have like a serious like conversation with someone, and it was just really disappointing for me, just because I expected certain things from a previous conversation that we had, and it just didn't go my way, or it didn't go the way that it was portrayed to me. I would put it that way. And this is all like business wise, it's not personal, but like, I mean, it can be personal because obviously I'm feeling it, but whatever it is, that was a really hard conversation that I had. And the rest of the week, that all the other conversations that followed just kept on reminding me of that feeling of disappointment. So it was like really, really hard. And then I was like, this is one of the hardest feelings to feel, but like I'm grateful to be feeling it and moving through it and trying to understand it in order to get out of it stronger, right? Because all of our experiences are here to show us something. And it was so funny because talking with Dakota, she was like, remember when Lewis Howe told us the story about the black fly? Let me tell you the story about the black fly. But before I tell you the story about the black fly, let's try this wine real quick, because I want to sip on some wine and then tell you the story. So the color of this wine already is giving me like, it's almost leaning towards the garnet side of things, but it's still in that like bright purpley stage of it. but it has like a garnet trim. That's what I could say. It has a garnet trim, but it has a very, very nice color to it. On the nose, I'm getting like that peppery notes. I would say like red pepper, red fruit notes coming through very strong. Let's go ahead and try it. So this is so interesting. I feel like it's a very tannic wine. Like it's not that the tannins are like lingering on my tongue still after drinking it. The red fruit notes are coming through strong, but I was genuinely surprised. It kind of tastes like a Tuscan red blend, almost, because it has like that harsh. It's not super harsh tannins, but the tannins are present that you can tell that this is like. It's just very strange because it's 50% Pinot Noir, and like for me, a Pinot Noir does not taste like this. I don't mind this wine, but I think it's a very weird blend. How do I describe this? Yeah, like the tannins are very, very present. The legs are like falling slowly, so it has body to it. And I would say this is like a medium-bodied to almost full-bodied red wine. If you like a highly, like more on the tannic side of things wine and with red fruit notes, this is your jam. I honestly think this would go really nicely with like any dishes having to do with mushrooms, a roasted beef, lamb. Oh my God, a lamb with this would be 10 out of 10. My rating, I feel like my rating for this would be an 8 out of 10. Like I feel like I will like this wine when I pair it with food. Like I think this is one of those wines that when you pair it with the perfect dish, it's gonna explode in your mouth. Like a good explosion, not a bad explosion. But anyways, let's go back to the fly story. So when I was at this summit, Lewis Howe was doing his closing statement, and he was talking about, he was like, look, I have a story for you guys, right? So like there's this black fly, and I don't remember who told him. I think someone told him this, and then he was telling us. But he was like, I always refer to this story because it's very relevant to like life in general, especially when you're in a rut or you're trying to accomplish something and you just can't seem to like figure out the way to accomplish it, or you're stuck or whatever the case may be. But there's a black fly in the room, and the room has a window and a door. The window is closed, but the door is open, and the fly is in front of the window and it's trying to get out. And the fly just keeps going against the window, hitting the window. And it's like, why? Like, I'm trying to get out, but it's not happening. Kind of like when you're trying to get to the next level in your life, but you're like, okay, I'm doing all the steps. So like, why is this not working? Right? And the door is like 5 feet to the left of the window. So the fly keeps on trying to get out through the window, through the window, through the window. So it's so focused and so set on like, this is the way to go outside, that it is hyper focused on getting to the outside through the window. But what the fly doesn't realize is that 5 feet to its left, the door is open for it to go through. So the whole concept behind this is like, what is happening in our life right now that we're hitting ourselves against the window when all we have to do is go 5 feet to the left to get out of the door, right? Because sometimes the answer isn't what's right in front of you or what you think you have to do in order to get to the next level. It's actually taking a step to the left 5 feet to then get to the next level. And it's like, I was like, whoa, that's mind blown. So in order to translate this into like life or whatever you're trying to do, or if you feel like you're stuck, take a step back and stop doing what you're doing, aka stop hitting the window, and look at different perspectives to see, maybe I need to just go 5 feet to the left so that I can get to the next level through the door. Because guess what? Going through the door is gonna get you to the same place than going through the window. But if I'm just hyper focused on going through the window, I'll never see that the door is open for me to go through easily and effortlessly. So I felt like sharing that with you guys because I think that was a nice little reminder, and just thinking back on that experience really ignited me to be like, you know what? We're doing the things that we said we would do, and we're just going step by step, and everything is happening for us, and it's happening in the right time that it's supposed to happen. So I'm not worried about anything. And anytime I feel like I am disappointed or come across challenges, what I'm gonna do is take a step back and look at the different perspectives, to see if I need to move 5 steps to the left or 5 steps to the right to walk through the door. And on that note, cheers. Let me know what you think of the wine. This wine cost me $20 at Graziano's Market. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can find a link for you guys to try it. If not, if you have a Graziano's Market near you, you can go ahead and grab it there. But let me know what you think. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you don't. Whatever it is, I want to hear about it. But I will see you all on the next one. Cheers, and remember, drink your wine tonight.